Alright, solar YouTubers. This is roughly the 15th video I have made, and it's just not going well. So when I started today, I was a lot higher than this. I didn't have enough solar coming in, and it was cloudy all day. And then if you can tell, the refrigerator's running. I have to use my battery charger, charge up the batteries, so I know I'm not bringing in enough solar. I know that, and I know that I don't have enough battery capacity to run my fridge for 34 days. I know all this. So I want to talk to you about real quick about the charge controller is the bottleneck of the system. I can cheaply upgrade to 400 more watts to bring in 800, but that charge controller can't handle it. Right now it's under power right now for the 400 watts. Now, I can go and buy me another charge controller, and you run into the issues of buying, you're spending 150. So what I need 150 volts at 35 amps, okay, to make the 400 watt array work like it should. That's for 100. So if you go with the Victron, you're looking at $187 just for one charge controller. If I need to upgrade to another 400 watts of solar, that charge controller is maxed. I can't do anything else. So I have to buy me another charge controller and buy another charge controller, or for the second 400 watts, or get one that can handle 800 watts, and that is the Victron 150/60, and that's $351. So for the two charge controllers, it's $330. For the one, it's $351. Okay, so you're just stuck. The bottleneck of the whole system is your charge controller. I found a way to eliminate that. Okay, I found a way, and it's called the all-in-one hybrid system. Okay, and they are, for the price that you are, I'm looking at the SunGold, okay, but there's some cheaper ones here. This was available, okay, this Vevor was in my, I was going to buy it. I was going to buy it here in about 15-20 minutes after I made this video, and for some reason it's gone. But this is what it is, a all-in-one. It says 306, but it was, that's not the one I was looking at. I can't find the one I was looking at. It was in my cart. It's gone. I don't know what happened to it. So basically what an all-in-one is, it's your charge controller, it's your inverter, and your battery charger all in one. Like I have that there. So let me turn some lights on so I can show you. You won't see my lights on very often. So an all-in-one system is your inverter, is your battery charger, and is your charge controller, all in one unit. Okay, and wrong switch. So from that point, and okay, so I got so much I need to say. These charge controllers can handle up to can handle up to, let's go to SunGold I'm looking at here, okay? I got it over here on this other page. I'll show you in a second, okay? This SunGold can handle up to 450 volts. There is not one charge controller on the market right now that I can find that can handle 450 volts. And this is all in one. This is about a 3,000 watt system panel system you can put in, and you're fine. And it's a 3,000 watt power inverter. You need a 24 volt system, so my two batteries are in parallel. I just got to put them in series. It's 120 volt out, pure sine wave. It's an 80 amp charge controller, and it won't start operating until around 120 volts. Well, that's where I'm stuck because I only got 71. So for me, this is not quite, I can't quite use it. It's not quite big enough. And the solar charge controller is 40 amps. That's the AC to the, well, what I'm doing right now, charging up my batteries with my battery charger is only 20 amps. Okay? And what's so awesome about these all-in-one, I don't know why nobody's talking about this. I have no clue. I have no clue why nobody's talking about these. Okay? So, you can see that. I mean, oh, stop it. And you can change literally the priority on these charge controllers. So you can have the charging your batteries, okay? So you can have it on, if you're talking about charging the batteries, you can have solar only, or you can have solar and the grid only, of solar first and the grid, or you can have the grid and the solar, or you can have both. So they both combine. So you have 4 different ways you can charge. Okay, and when it comes to running your power inverter, okay, same way. Solar first in the grid, or the grid and solar are combined. That's how you power your inverter. And then if solar, the solar doesn't work, the grid can power, whatever. So this is how it is over here. This is some good I'm looking at. It's $459. And for me to get a charge controller that can handle 800 watts, it's I'm $100 less just for one charge controller, and it's maxed out. This ain't maxed out. I have 450 volts to mess with. So, and then you don't have all the wires, you don't have all the fuses, and you just don't have none of that. So what you do on the input, okay? You can take an extension cord, 8 gauge, whatever extension cord, and you cut it in half, okay? You wire the male end into the input of the AC, okay? You wire the female end into the output of the AC, all right? And then your MC4 connectors, so one end can be regular wires you stick in with the ferrules if you want, and the other end can be your MC4 connectors. And this here, if you have a fuse on the battery, you can have a cutoff switch, and it goes right into the unit. How we do this is you plug the male into your wall socket, okay? So you're drawing power from the grid. Since the wall plug has a breaker, so it's about a 15 to 20 amp breaker. There's your breaker. You don't have to put one in between these two because you already have one. It's in the wall, right? And then you can hook a generator up to this if you want, okay? So the output, the female part of it, that's where your load hooks up to, okay? If you plug a power strip into that plug, and that power strip has a 15 to 20 amp fuse on it, there is your fuse built in to the power strip, and you have a fuse built into the wall, your circuit breaker. So you don't have to worry about all those fuses and the thick gauge wire, none of that. It's already covered for you by the stuff. And then since your solar panels, since they're in series, you have no amperage you have to worry about. So technically you don't have to fuse your solar panels if they're in series. If you have a series, like a 2S and a 1P, or 2S, 2P, if you put them in parallel, then you have to fuse it. But if it's just pure series, you don't have to fuse it. Now, you have to look at your short circuit current. My panels are 5.55, okay? That's if it's short circuited. And my amp fuse rating is 10 amps. So if your short circuit current is higher than what your panel is rated for as for your fuse, it would tell you fuse 10 amps. And if my short circuit is 12 amps, then you have to put a fuse on it. But if my panel short circuits, it's only, let's say, 6 amps, and the panel can hold up to 10 amps. So you don't have to worry about fusing in series. And you can if you want, that's fine. I mean, there's no big deal there, but you don't need to. So there's no no special breaker here or nothing, no fuses here, and you use the MC4 connector, so you can literally just unplug the MC4 connectors, or if you want, you can put it into a breaker, whatever. Your power bank here, your batteries, you definitely want to fuse that, and then you have a cutoff switch, and it goes right into the box. And so it's so simple. It's none of the wires, and it's so much cheaper to do it this way. It's so much cheaper. And like I said, I was over here, and I had this. It was $259. No, $249. The one I was looking at, and this thing is 305, right? So this name we never seen before. Okay, this is probably a Chinese knockoff. You read it. And these 24 volts to operate. Your battery bank has to be 24 volts, and then it has an AC of 110. Okay, so you click on it, and let's see if this has anything about. It carries up to 500 volts. And you read down here, charge controller, all the batteries, and then you have to make sure that it has a built-in battery charger. I don't see that on here anywhere. So you go down here to the specs, and you don't see a oh, there it is. Built-in 80 amp AC charging circuit. So it is all in one, okay? So, and you can go down here to the reviews. I'll show you what I do. I'll go down to reviews, and I pick the 1 star. Okay? Well, there ain't no 1 star. There ain't no there's all these nice, fine, you don't worry go by reviews anyway, because they could be paid, whatever. So what you do is, you go up here, and it's a Chinese knockoff, and it's not really hard to undo. You got to do 4 sets of wires. That's it. I mean, it's 4 screws, and everything comes out. So you buy it, okay, and then you buy the 3-year protection plan for $40. Okay, for 300 and I was gonna pick this anyway. All right, and you go to the cart. Okay, for $344, $345, right? You have a MPP. Let's go back to the go back down here to the specs. Okay, you have a Pure Waves sine wave. It's 3600 watts pure sine wave inverter. Okay. You have a 120 amp PPT charge controller that can handle up to 450 watts, about 4,200 watts it can handle of the charge controller. Charges your battery if you need. 120. I mean, you get 3 pieces of equipment for For $345, you get 3 pieces of equipment, okay? And then you have this protection plan, and if something goes wrong in the 3 years, you just return it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you have to undo the converter from the batteries and undo the, it's not. And there is a drawbacks. There is a good and bad. If any of these systems go bad, the whole thing's bad. Okay, I understand. You're down. There you go. But if my inverter's down in there and I'm done too. It doesn't matter. This one you can't switch out the inverter, you can't switch out the charge controller, or the battery charger. You can't do none of that. On my system you can. If my charger goes bad, it's get a new charger, and there you go. But for the money and the ease of it, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I'm not saying anybody's stupid. I'm not saying all that, but if you are building a small emergency solar system, like I have, buy one of these. It's no bigger than a suitcase I have in there with my charge controllers in, and it's simple. You just push the wire up and screw it down. You do, when you come to the AC, you got to learn what the neutral, the ground, and the hot is. You got, but they show you diagrams. They show you how to hook it up. So you plug this into your wall, and then if like right now, I was gone all day, and I knew I probably wouldn't be charging enough to top off my batteries, and I was worried about, what if I don't get no sun coming in? My batteries are going to drain. And what these all-in-one systems can do is you're using the primary, your solar to charge up your batteries. And the excess of the solar, well, actually what I'm doing now, what my system is, my solar is running the power inverter, okay? And when the power inverter is running, it's running off the solar, and any excess is going to the battery. And half the time I don't have no excess because I'm limited. Okay? And so when the refrigerator's not on, then the solar can dump right into the charge controller. And the charge controller, instead of going into the inverter, it can go into the battery. All right? But let's say that, you can set it up as you want the grid to be a backup. So if the solar is not producing enough and your charge controller is not, if your solar is not producing enough, okay, then the secondary can be the battery bank for your inverter, okay? So just like I have in there, sometimes this is not charging, I'm not getting enough watts in, and so what I am getting in is going to the inverter, and the battery's going into the inverter, okay? But the battery's getting drained, so there's no way to charge it. So when you are powering the inverter, you have three options: solar, battery, or the grid when you're trying to power your load, okay? And so you can have the primary for the grid, for the solar, and then the secondary. If this is not enough, then you go to your batteries. And if these two ain't good enough, then you go to your grid power, okay? Then when it comes to charging the battery, you go to your solar, okay? If solar ain't doing it, it has a built-in battery charger that it would tap into the grid and start charging your batteries. That is so awesome. And then if you want, you can just run straight off the grid, or certain times you can set it for certain times that the grid will come on, like at nighttime, like from midnight to 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, whatever. You can have it running off the grid because you don't want it running off the batteries. You could if you want, it doesn't matter. But you have the option of doing all this. We don't have that option now. Like right now, I have to plug in a battery charger to charge up my batteries because I don't have enough solar. I don't have to worry about that because when the battery gets down to a certain level, this will automatically turn on the battery charger and charge the batteries. I don't have to worry about that. Now, I do have to worry about the power going out. And if the power goes out, that's a different story. And then in my system, I just do not have enough storage. Okay? Let me turn my light back on. And I know this. I know this is a flaw in my system. I don't have enough storage. So the all-in-one is pretty much the size of that box. Okay? It has a charge controller in there that's really not limited. Okay? This is limited. All your charge controllers are limited by voltage. The all-in-ones are about 400 to 500 volts. Okay? So I have the charge controller, I have the battery charger, and I have the inverter. Look how much space this is taking, and look how many wires I have to worry about doing, okay? And so the charge controller, the battery charger is actually charging my batteries and running my fridge right now. And when the fridge is done running, then all the juice is going into the batteries, okay? I don't have to worry about this. I have to keep coming here and checking this, make sure, whatever. I don't have to do this because the all-in-one would do it automatically. You set the perimeters. So this is why I'm going to preach from now on all-in-one system, okay? And so what I think I'm going to do is buy the cheapest one I can find, the China one, and get it. I'm going to have that warranty with it, so I don't have to worry about if something happens to it. I can go back, and right now if something happens to my charge controller, I'm down. I am not right now, I'm not dependent on solar. I have the grid. So right now I'm just playing around with all this, trying to figure out what works, what don't work. So when I do go off grid, I don't have AC coming in. There we go. But that's also what's great about this is if you are off grid and you don't have the AC, you don't have the grid, you have a generator. And so you have plugins on the front. So instead of plugging this into the wall, you plug this into the generator and run your generator to charge the batteries because you need charge because you have no solar. I mean, just the possibilities are so endless with this. And I do not understand why. I just don't understand this. I just don't understand why nobody's really preaching this. You know, everybody shows these. You know, everybody shows what I'm doing right here. The charge controller, you know, the inverter, you know, and all of this. No one shows all in one. That's what my channel is going to that direction. I am going to show these all in one. When my pocket allows me to, I'm going to buy these cheap ones and run them. I mean, that's with a, you know, 3-year protecting plan, and you read all the reviews, they go bad within 90 days, if they do, okay? SunGold, this is the SunGold I really want. I mean, it's on sale right now. It's $100 off right now. And it's $4.59. They say it goes for $5. That on online and on Amazon it goes for come on, my internet's pissing me off right now. Yeah, the same one here on Amazon is that's $4.74 with the coupon. It's $4.99 regular, and it's cheaper on if you buy it offline, you know, off there. But yeah, there's, you know, they got different kinds. So this one here is starts at 120 volts. The MPP range is here. This is the open circuit. This is what it can take. This is what it can put out. I'm guessing the max input is 4,000 watts, and it charges up to 80 amps. That's the it's I just don't know what to say. I don't know why no one's really pushing this. It is right here. It's so easy. And the only reason I had to buy the SunGold right now, I really want it, is I can buy it, but I can't power it. You know, I gotta have, you know, 100 and what do I need? There's my road. I need 120 volts to start out with. Right now I'm running 71, 72 volts. So I don't have, it'd be useless for me right now. So it'd be better if I go and buy this, you know, cheap brand here, because I only need to start this, I only need 60 volts to start it. You see right there, 60 volts, and the max is right there. That's the max, 500 volts, you know, and it runs at 120, charges at 120 amps. And the output is 3600 at 60 hertz. I mean, so it's just surge capacity. So it's a off-brand, no name, but it is a whole lot cheaper than what I have now. And if it does last a week or two, then it lasts a week or two. That's why I got the insurance. But I really do want this. But you know, there's a day left, and I don't have a whole lot. I live paycheck to paycheck, so I don't have money to buy this stuff. So, you know, with this here, I have 400 watts on the roof. It will not keep up with the batteries, but I will have you know, the AC going in from the wall. So if it does drop too low, then I have the AC to charge it up. And that's the ease of mind, I guess. The only issue is if the power goes out, well, then I have my generator. Just plug my generator into this, and there you go. Like I said, you don't need as many fuses. You don't need as much cable. The money involved is $305, and for me to get my system where I need another 400 watts, and for me to reach that, I need to spend another $300 just on the charge controller. So I have 330 for 2 charge controllers, one for each 400 watt bank, or one for the whole 800 watt bank, but it's maxed right there, and that's 351. And so that's just for the charge controllers. That's not the inverter. That's not the battery charger. That's none of that. You know, and for $345, you just can't beat it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go off of here, and hopefully, I don't see why we're still messing with these small control systems and these Victron controllers. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. Victron is a great product. I have read nothing bad about them. And when something does go bad, you know, there's been several YouTubers who have Victron and goes bad, and they call and they're pretty much on it and get it fixed and all this. And there's nothing bad about them. They're expensive. And then if you go to, let's put in here, of course not. So for example, if you go into this 60 amp, this is going to be great. It's 12, 24, 48. Okay. That's for 169, and it's, you know, lead time, and you know, there's somewhat a good name brand. I don't know how good they are. And we go down and look at the specs, and it can only handle 870 watts. Okay. Now, if you increase the voltage, you know, to 24, it's 17. So, I mean, it's nowhere near. Now, 48, it's 3,000. So you can, but the max input is 150 volts. So, I mean, you are stuck at 150 volts. That's $169. So that's your bottleneck. And let's see what's this Victron here. Oh, this Victron here is $609. Okay. And it's a 250 volt, 100 amp. So it can take in 250 volts, and it can charge at 100 amps. Okay, but for $609, okay? True, you have all the display here for $30. You can buy a display, and it can connect to all the other features. I mean, it's so great, but look at the money, $609 just for a charge controller. And you are limited at 250 volts, okay? My charge controller over here is only charged at 80 amps, so you know it's 20 less, but it has 500 volts. You know, so you're just stuck. You're just stuck, and you're $200 for this one. Okay. Okay. So this says max input. Let's see what the max input is on this. 150 volts is the max input. Okay, so if I put 800 watts in series, you know, that's 180 volts. So I mean, you're stuck. You're just so stuck on the volts coming in. Victron's only 100, and you look at all these charge controllers, and they're all stuck. So that's 230 volts. So I mean, the charge controllers are a bottleneck, a major bottleneck. So when you look at YouTube and these videos, and you see these major house systems, you don't see these kind of charge controllers. You don't see them. You see these charge controllers. You see the EG4s. Okay, the EG4s. That's what EG4 is. It's a major. It's a all-in-one system. You know, and they're, you know, EG4 is expensive, but it's that. So instead of playing around with these stupid little charge controllers, you're spending the money you spend on a charge controller, and you can only get, you know, right now 400 watts on this one right here is very limited. You actually need 112, 14 volts, and about 31 amps, because once it gets cold outside, your panels can produce more. My panels are 100 watts a piece, and in test conditions, it's at 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 73 at test conditions. So the open current, the open current, the open voltage, the short voltage. Let's say the how was hold on, the open current voltage and the short circuit amperage is at a certain test. It's like 70 or 73 degrees. Okay. As the panel gets colder in the wintertime, it can produce more than what it's rated at. If it's rated at 100 watts, it has the possibility to produce more than 100 watts. So when you're doing the calculations, you have to put in there a buffer, like 1.25% times whatever. To figure this out, you have to put a buffer in there. So in case it does produce more, you have that buffer.